Vecino's Coffee Guy. We're glad to be with you on your journey through coffee. We love coffee no matter what the brew is. We like cold brew, we like espresso, we like drip brew. There's so many different things, but today we're going to talk about coffee storage. It's really important to understand storage because once the coffee comes out of the roaster, it's going to start deteriorating. At first it's going to degas, and then it's going to eventually go stale. Now there are several enemies when we look at coffee that deteriorate the coffee. One is heat. And that is why you do not want to have storage in a warm place or a hot place. I really find fault with the espresso machines that store the coffee on the machine as part of the machine, because the machine, the boiler, is putting out heat, and the heat is going to deteriorate the coffee faster. Another enemy of coffee is light, and so you want to store coffee in an airtight container in a dark place. Heat, light, and air. So we're looking at the ways that you can preserve coffee the longest. Now we're going back to the coffee show and show you a system that after the coffee is degassed, it can flush that coffee with CO2 and replace the oxygen, and it can hold the coffee for a couple of months. But now after coffee is roasted, the Specialty Coffee Association will tell you that you have 10 days for peak flavor, and after 10 days it starts declining. It doesn't mean it's bad. In 10 days, it only means it's starting to decline. So you can have decent tasting coffee 2 weeks old. Or you can find a way to store it that will preserve it longer. Let's go to the show now and look at the CO2 flush system that displaces the oxygen in a container and keeps it, as the manufacturer says, brags about 2 months.
Yes, this is a coffee pressure system. We sell a coffee preserver that uses pressurized CO2 to displace the oxygen in the air around coffee. That enables the coffee to go taste good when you open a new bag. Instead of the usual maybe 1 week, you'll probably get 4 weeks out of it if you use it every day. You can get months out of it if you store it permanently and don't open it every day. Yeah, that's sour taste.
Now we're going to more traditional roasters. I'm going to hold up a bag here. Now typically we will fill the bag and then we will heat seal it so it's airtight. But you will notice on this bag there's a label, and on the label is the origin of coffee. Say it's a Guatemalan, or it's a blend like an espresso blend, or it's a Sumatra or Ethiopian, and then the roast date. This means that in this airtight container, this little hole in this bag is going to it's a one-way valve, which means it's going to let the gases out because it's going to give off carbon dioxide that's escaping the coffee after it's roasted. For about 2 to 3 days, it degasses, and it's giving off carbon dioxide. It lets it come out the one valve, the little hole. It's a one-way valve, lets the carbon dioxide escape without oxygen coming in. And so these will preserve your coffee for a longer period of time. Now, if you had fresh roasted coffee and you tried to seal it, and the bag was tight, and it would balloon out because it's giving off, and that's why when you see a pillow pack, they grind the coffee and it gives off carbon dioxide, and it swells, and that's not optimum. Fresh roasted, fresh ground, fresh brewed is optimum. So we have these bags. Now this is a 1 pound bag. And let me just say this, most stores when you buy a bag like this, you're really buying what you think is a pound, but if you look at it, it's 12 ounces. When the price of coffee went up a few years ago, they kept the price the same because of sticker shock, but they lightened the bag to 12 ounces. So most bags, we do 1 pound bags in this, and then we do a 5 pound bag in this. And so we write the date that it's roasted. Do not buy the whole kind of coffee that says good through and it's a year out. That is, listen, a lie. It's a lie. So when you go to a major brand, I won't say the name, but it's got a mermaid on it. It says good through. It's stale coffee when you open it. It's not good for a year. Don't believe that lie. So it's in a one-way valve, which is going to keep it fresher longer, but it's not going to keep it fresh for a year. So put it back and buy something locally. Now, we like to roast fresh. We roast the day you order, we roast and we ship. So you've got it just when it's degassing, or if you pick it up, you got to let it set for a day or a day and a half before you use it. Now, for local stuff, I personally like this tin. It has a nice lid that seals, and on the bottom, you're going to see a one-way valve. It's going to let the carbon dioxide out, but no air in. Boy, that smells good. This was just roasted 2 days ago, I believe. And then this is, I like the tins that it displays our product well. This has no degassing valve, but you can take the lid off, and I like the storage and the looks of this, so I purchased some of these tins. Now these are a little more expensive than the bag, but it's a nice storage, and it keeps it, you'll notice it won't let light in. So heat, light, and air are the enemies. And when we're talking about heat, light, and air, when we talk about storing coffee in a roaster, or not a roaster, a grinder, you'll notice that these are tinted. This is not tinted, but this one is very tinted. And it keeps the light from coming in. So when you go to a coffee shop, and they've got directional lights aiming at glass with, you know, I don't know, 3 or 5 gallon with lids. That's really not, it's displaying the beans well, where you can see the beans, but the light is coming through. So when you're storing coffee, you must understand you don't want heat, you don't want light, and you don't want air. So this is important why we do storage. We understand what deteriorates that coffee, and we want to preserve the freshness. Fresh roasted, fresh ground, fresh brewed, the best if you have good beans to start with. Have a good day. We'll see you. Hit the bell so you're notified when we do a new video. Thank you.